the bonus cars have now officially been claimed. And also, just to prove that I've got them in my vehicle selection, I have also saved to the game afterwards to make sure that I keep them. So yes. But now it's time for us to move on to the other part of arcade mode, and we do have some other races to get through in both cities as well. But depending whether or not they'll be easy, only time will tell. It will also depend on knowing if my laptop is still alive by the time... well, if my laptop battery is still alive by the time I get to the end of this thing. So, you may be thinking to yourself, but Jordan, we've already done all of the head-to-heads in career mode. And yes, to those of you who don't know, you may be right. But there is something you don't know. So if I just head up over here, you will notice there is a 10th head-to-head race. And basically, this is a time trial run. And it's called I Smell Bacon. There's heat all over the place. Your only chance is to dart down Battery Park and up the freeway. But you better find an off-ramp quick, because this race ends in the middle of the city. And I already know precisely what car it is I'm going to use as well. So, some of you are thinking I should use the Xender Alpha, but whilst top speed and acceleration are both important, this thing has too little handling, and judging by the durability, it tells me I'm probably going to damage out numerous times before I pass. So I need a car with a bit more handling, and that's where this comes in. I'm going to use the Kuruma Basuto GR. And don't really need to change the colour. This thing looks fine in orange. And let's go. Yeah, so this is quite a tricky one to beat. But I have done it at least 2 times before, and hopefully if it's possible, I will be able to do it again. Even though it is going to take me at least a couple of attempts to do this correctly, because you've got to deal with a ton of traffic. And also, all the traffic are coppers. So that's going to make this even more of a challenge. I forgot to put my display settings back on. Excuse me just a moment. Okay, there it is. So, all of the display settings are now back on again after I reset the game. Apparently the game options don't save a lot of the time. And part of the reason I know this is because I constantly have to switch my controller configuration to B. And at the moment it looks as though things are going very badly. Okay, so just for the record, I did have to mute myself just so I could concentrate on that run. But since I did it twice before, I figured it was only going to be a matter of time before I did it again. There were probably so many ways in which that could have gone wrong, but it somehow didn't. So we have 4 options here. I can't really move on to the next race because it'll just send me back to the first head-to-head, which, to be completely honest, I don't want to do, since I've already done all the other head-to-heads. So, that is our first and only head-to-head in New York, now done and dusted. So let's now move on to the waypoint races. So, 10 of these are in the career mode, and now we need to do the other 5 waypoint races that are in arcade mode. And we begin with this one, Rapidly Intrepid. A fast run through a deserted Manhattan. You'll need all the best moves and a really fast car to have a chance on this one. I'm also pretty sure this is the one that takes place on the warship. In other words, we're basically having to jump onto the USS Intrepid. At least I think that's the name of the ship I saw from an unofficial source, but anyways. So, from beating the head-to-head, we get the Manhattan patrol cars. So we have 3 of these, as you might have guessed. Obviously got this one, Patrol Car 2, and also the SUV, which I think is meant to be a Ford Explorer, but I'm not entirely sure. Anyways, I've already decided on which car I'm going to use, and that car I'm going to use to go up against Anika is Patrol Car 2. Because it seems to be the best cop car I can use statistically. But yeah, so I'm also pretty sure if everything goes my way, the AI will more than likely damage out before they have a chance to finish, or before they're able to get off the USS Intrepid and back onto the shore. Which I would like to say is the name of a... World War II aircraft carrier, which is basically what the USS Intrepid more or less is, as I learned from an unofficial source. At least I think that... By the way, did I mention the most challenging part about this race is making both jumps? As in, I think you've literally got to put your car in a pincer-perfect position to, quite honestly, prevent yourself from drowning in the drink, which, to be completely honest, is precisely what's happened at this stage so far. And, well, that could have been worse, but somehow wasn't. Okay. Can I make the jump this time? I wonder. I'm gonna go a little bit earlier. Okay, I've made the jump this time, thankfully. And because I know the Xander has good handling and acceleration but lacks overall top speed, it is fair to say that is going to be my advantage, and it is fair to say you do need a good handling car as well as a fast car in order to win this race, and because my car is literally that good, I've done it, and hitting a top speed of 168 in the process. Let's see how far behind the AI will be. I don't think anybody else is going to finish. But one thing that is amazing about this race is that I can definitely say it's taken its toll on attrition, because up until now we've only had one DNF in a race maximum, and in this one we've had 2 DNFs, because Anika also damaged out. And if I head over to next race, it will just stick me in the car that I'm currently driving, and obviously I don't want to do that because I want to drive as many cars as I can for each of these races. And now we move on to our next waypoint race, which is this: Rabid Transit. 3 cheers for public transportation. Name your destination, and this town's got a bus headed there. Look out if you're driving though. Those bus drivers have nasty blind spots and even nastier attitudes. And I know precisely which car it is I'm going to use for this. I want to use the Super Taxi, just because I really want to use a car with a badass motor, and also to add to this, a car which I can probably say more or less has a V8 engine. Well, it's either that or it's a V6 engine, but considering it's a hot rod, I would imagine the engine type is probably a V8. But yeah, like I said before, it's one badass motor. It's also a 300 horsepower V8 motor with a modern design. I'm not being stereotypical there, I'm just living the American dream. So, the only traffic we have in this race realistically are buses, and I've already missed the checkpoint. Okay, so trying this again, because as I've learned, this game is very strict when it comes to making checkpoints. And if it comes to actually winning these races, you cannot afford to miss them. Sometimes you've literally got to drive straight through them just to prove that you've got through them. I'm also pretty sure this is going to be a pretty easy race altogether, because I can already tell the AI is struggling. I should also mention Kuruma is in this race. But yeah, so the Hookmen, or characters who we competed against in the arcade mode, they are now known as Homeboy Zero. And I really fucked up that checkpoint. Shit. Okay. It's alright, it's fine. I'm still in the lead, in spite of my poor navigation skills. I am still out in front. And the question I have is, can I stay there? I sincerely hope I can stay there. Oh. Yep, there we go. I won the race first try. And Homeboy 3 finishes 5 seconds behind me. Well, more specifically, 5.2 seconds behind me. So there's Homeboy 2, Homeboy 1, and where is Kareem? There he is. He finished in last. But yeah, I should mention the AI who we competed against in the career mode. In arcade mode, they're basically known as Homeboy Zero, because it was what we had with Anika, and it's also what we just had with Kareem as well. But I think the main reason I won that race is because my car had stronger grip. And I am glad to say that I did manage to win with this thing as well. Because I can definitely say this car with its V8 motor, it's pretty badass looking. Oh yeah, that was when I fucked up that checkpoint. But it's fine, because I was still leading in spite of the mistake, and I did still manage to score the win anyway, because, well, my car handles better. Thankfully. I'm also glad to say the game did not stick me in the wall there. Yeah, that's pretty badly damaged front end there. But anyways, back to the main menu once again. I should also mention the game autosaves once we are done with the race itself, and I might as well showcase the bonus cars we unlocked from both of those races as well, whilst I'm at it. So our next race is called Midnight Treat, and I know precisely what car it is I want to use as well. So, from the first race, we unlock the Xander Beta, probably a car I'm never gonna drive. And from the other race we just did, we unlock the bus. It has 640 horsepower. That is mad, especially by this game's standards. And the car I'm gonna use for this race, I'm gonna use the car I used before. And that is this, the Kuruma Basuto GS. And manual transmission, but yes. I'm going to use the Kuruma Basuto GS for what I believe is our fourth race here in arcade mode. At least the fourth arcade race in New York. But I know precisely how to do this now. So we're basically having to go in a rectangle for the first 4 checkpoints, and then we're basically just having to barrel all the way up to our final checkpoint, which is all the way on the other side of Central Park, I think. You know, I really am starting to question my own self-authority at this stage. Also, I'm pretty sure there is one area where 2 ice cream vans literally just glitch out of the screen if you think they're coming to you. They're basically just glitching out right there in front of you, and you somehow don't see them again. I'm going to assume that's an in-game glitch, but it's probably not anything for me to be too concerned about whilst I'm fighting to control this thing. That was a beautiful handbrake U-turn I just performed there. That's probably the best U-turn I've performed in this game so far, because it actually worked. Yeah, just really having to snake my way through the traffic here, just to keep in control of my car, and Just keeping myself in check. And oh, bollocks. Okay. It's alright, it's fine. I've not lost this race yet. And there we go. Sweet Mother of God. And everyone just basically crashed once they finished. We basically all wrecked. And Lucas finished second in that race ahead of Homeboy 3, Homeboy 1, Homeboy 4, and Homeboy 2 was last. Okay. 4 races down and still 2 to go. I am glad to say the GS did help me in that one. But anyways, 2 races left, and our next one is this. Maids Revenge. Remember the parking ticket you forgot to pay? That Maid didn't forget it. She's back, and brought some friends to make sure this time you pay. We're also racing against Emily in this race. FYI. And I know precisely what car it is I'm going to use as well, because I figured, well, I might as well be the copper in this one. Once I can find it. Yeah, here it is. So, I've used the first Manhattan PD patrol car, well, the second one, and I figured, well, I might as well use the first one, because it's what I used before. Also because, well, cop cars in this game are fast, and I figure it's going to take a fast car in order for me to beat Emily. And hopefully I can do that, which is precisely what I'm aiming for. Whilst also hoping that my laptop doesn't die before I manage to finish this race. Hopefully not, anyway. Yeah, by the way, I should also mention the Maids in this game, they're basically tuk-tuks. In terms of the vehicles I can say they are. At least I think they're tuk-tuks. Well, they're either tuk-tuks or they're Daihatsu midgets. It's definitely one or the other, from what I can make out. And the physics bug getting a little angry there, for whatever reason. Really couldn't explain why though. And I'm not going to take the subway because I know that will be a mistake. And it looks as though Emily has already paid the price for that one because she sustained a lot of damage from taking that underground route. And as a result, it's now giving me the lead. So, I guess it's fair to say some areas tend to cause more damage than others, but hopefully this time I should be able to win this race on my first try, providing everything goes my way. And indeed it does. I win the sprint to Queens, as Emily was second, followed by Homeboy 1, and then Homeboy 2 was fourth. Alrighty then. So we now have just one race left here in New York, and this one is going to require a ton of speed. I also hope that my laptop manages to hold out long enough. But anyways, one waypoint race to go, and that is this, the Manhattan Loop. And where this time we are going up against Darren for our final race here in New York. Can you handle real speed, or will you wrap yourself around a telephone pole? You won't have much time to use the brakes on this one. put it to the floor and don't spend too much time blinking. And I already know precisely which car it is I'm going to use. Might as well get the last of the Kurumas out of the way, so I'm going to use this. The Kuruma Fasuto GT. And as for the colour, well... yeah, why not? I'll drive this thing in purple. So, I think the main thing you need to worry about here is making sure that you've got the speed as well as the control of the car in order to officially win it. And I figured I was at least needing a car I would have a stronger shot of controlling than either of the Xanders. So that's why I chose this. So, apparent as it might be from what I've learned here, this race can also damage you out fairly easily, if you're not careful. And as I had just discovered on my previous attempt, that's precisely what just happened. And this car does not steer very well either, as I have now learned. But anyways. Still able to take way less damage than I would have taken had I taken the tunnel. So it is fair to say that's one benefit I get without any doubts. And someone has landed in the drink. In other words, someone has basically crashed into the Atlantic Ocean as a result of him overshooting the corner. So, just hoping to not make the same mistake twice, and showing that this time I can manage to avoid an accident before it takes place. And I did not think that was going to work, but somehow it did. It actually worked. And now I just have to make sure I hold on to the lead. As I'm going down this stretch now at 186 miles an hour and almost losing control of my car there, but able to somehow maintain the lead because Darren is having his own issues. Hit a top speed of 186 down that stretch, and I crossed the line at 174. Oh wait, that was Homeboy 1. Okay. So, where did Darren finish in the end? I wonder. Still no confirmation on Homeboy 2 at this point, so I'm going to assume he damaged out. But anyways, there we go. So that's now all of our arcade races in New York over and done with. And now I'm going to showcase the bonus cars we won from doing those races. Sure, whatever. So these are the cars we won from those other two races we just did. So the first one we won was the ice cream truck from that race we did with Lucas. And the other one we unlocked was the Meter Maid, which I still think is a tuk-tuk, but that's probably just me, so you know. And the final car we unlock in Manhattan for beating Darren in the Manhattan Loop is this, the Amata Fiorenza 2. Still yet to unlock the Crescendo, but that is the car we win from beating him in the Manhattan Loop. So yes, I'm also pretty sure my laptop is not going to take this much further. But yeah. Yep, there it is. Okay. My laptop is low on battery again. I'm honestly lucky to say I finished this when I did. But there we go. So, the New York races are now done, and now we must head over to the London races. Stay tuned for more of Midnight Club.